Fractions are fun. Look at the fractions I have on my table right here. I have 2 full circles, but if I slice like a ninja this circle over, I can divide it in half. I have 1/2 and 1/2. Now if I take this one and slice it like a ninja, I can divide it into 4ths. And the best thing about fractions is you can make funny faces with them. You can turn your fractions into the happiest little guy. He is so cheery. Look at that. And he's got a little beard, or he just looks like that. Isn't he cute? Hello, good to see you. We're going to be talking about fractions. I'm taking all my fractions away, and I want you to take your book out and make sure you're on page 88. This page you cannot write in your book. However, I have put on the Teams page, on the files, you can print this very page out so that you can write on it. I want to show you some very important things as you start to look at fractions in your life as a mathematician. We're going to compare different fractional units, and I have some new math words for you that I want you to pay attention to. You did a great job yesterday on your math journal, and now we're going to look at some key words that you need to know when you're dealing with fractional elements. Let's take a look at this first problem here. Read it with me. 2 muffins are the same size. I want you to take your pencil and I want you to circle same size. That is a hugely important set of words there. That means that you are comparing 2 sizes of objects that are the same, and that matters when you're dealing with fractional parts. Notice over here, Derek's size muffin is the same size as Sue's size muffin, meaning that they drew the bars the same length so that you could see you're dealing with the same size muffin. That matters because Derek eats half of 1 muffin, shown here, very easy to see. Sue eats 1/3 of the other muffin, and you can compare which one is greater because the muffins were the same size. Now imagine how hard this would be if Derek's muffin was this big. I'm a terrible muffin drawer, but Sue's muffin was only this big. Well, now if he eats half of this one and she eats 1/3 of this one, it's going to look very different because you're not dealing with the same size muffin. So it's important that you notice you are dealing with the same size muffin. And so the question, who eats more, is easily answered by drawing the same size bars to see. Notice that if you draw it in half, you have 1 part that's shaded out of 2 parts. The 1 out of the 2 parts. Here, you divide the bar or the muffin into 3 big parts, and this is 1 of the 3 parts is shaded, and all 3 parts are shown here. Now you can look at the shading and see that 1/2, just like you did in your math journal yesterday, is bigger than 1/3. So who eats more? Well, Derek eats more, that's pretty obvious here. So we could say that 1/2, is it greater than or less than 1/3? Correct, it is greater than, and we remember we put our chompers showing a big open alligator mouth to our bigger number. So we could also flip that around then. If we were to say 1/2 is greater than 1/3, we could say how is 1/3 compared to 1/2? Is 1/3 less than or greater than 1/2? Correct, 1/3 is less than 1/2. Write that on your paper. So who eats more? Derek eats more. You can write his name in here. He's a hungry lad. Oh, how many of you would like a muffin right now that we've been talking about it? Ooh, delicious. Let's move to number 2. Read it with me, please. Begin. The rectangles are the same size. Ooh, take out your pencil and circle same size. That's important. Which fraction is greatest? Which fraction is least? So all of our bars, notice, are the same size. So we now can compare each unit part with one another. We have 1 out of 3 parts shaded here, that's 1/3. We have 1 out of 4 parts shaded here, that's 1/4. And we have 1 out of 2 parts shaded here, that's 1/2. Which one is the greatest? Write it in that green part right there. Okay, you should have said 1/2 is the greatest? That's this one right here. Which one is the least? Write it in that green mark right there. Well, this one has the least amount of the bars shaded compared to the others, so 1/4 is the least. Okay, let's turn to the next page, page 89, or you can turn to the next page that we printed out, your mom printed out for you. Read number 3. The circles are the... Yes, they are, so circle it, same size, that's important. On a copy of each circle, which I have in front of me, I'm not writing in my book, color on a copy of each circle, color one part. Okay, do that now. Just color one part. You can just kind of briefly shade it in on each one of your circles. Do one part. I'm doing it along with you. Pause me if I beat you and you need more time. Okay, you should be back. Then name the unit fraction. Take your pencil and underline unit fraction. That's a big new math word you're going to use from now until you get into high school. So learn it now and it'll be much easier for you to understand later. A unit fraction means one piece of whatever fraction you're doing. This is one piece of all the pieces I have. This shaded is one piece of all the pieces I have. This is one piece of all the pieces available. So whatever we put in here becomes our unit fraction. It means one out of however many you have. Okay, so what would be the unit fraction that we would have over here? We know we colored in one part out of how many parts? 1, 2, 3. Out of 3 parts in the whole. Then parts in the whole go at the bottom. The number you shaded goes at the top. 1/3. This is a unit fraction because it's showing one part shaded of the whole thing. 1/3 is a unit fraction showing one unit, one part. Okay, what would we put here? What is the unit fraction that we shaded? The unit fraction is 1 out of 2 parts are shaded. The unit fraction is 1/2. Say that out loud. The unit fraction is 1/2. Okay, let's move to this one. What is the unit fraction we shaded for this model? You should have put 1/4 because 1 out of 4, 1 unit. So say it with me. The unit fraction is 1/4 for this shape. Okay, so now we're going to order the fractions from greatest to least. Do that now and then unpause me when you have it done. Okay, back with you. Greatest to least. The greatest obviously covers up more of the circle than the other one. So the biggest one, the greatest, is 1/2. The next largest amount of the circle shaded is in the unit fraction 1/3. And the last one is 1/4. This should remind you of what we did yesterday in your math journal. Same should this one. The triangles, read it with me please. The triangles are the same size. Circle that please, same size. That means we can compare them evenly. On a copy of each triangle, which is what we have here, color one part. Do that now. Unpause if you need to. Need more time. Okay. Name the unit fraction. Take your pencil and underline unit fraction. The unit fraction, remember, is one of the pieces of the whole thing. That's 1 unit. Unit means 1. It comes from the word unus in Latin. That means 1. Okay, so this one is, label the parts, please. 1/3. The unit fraction of this one would be, yes, write it down, 1/2. And 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. We've shaded 1. What's the unit fraction of this shape? 1/4. Now we're going to order the fractions from least to greatest. Pause me and do that now. And begin 1/4, 1/3, 1/2. From least, this is the smallest, the least amount shaded, the next biggest amount shaded, and the greatest amount shaded. Your job now is to turn to practice 2 on pages 51 and 52 of your workbook and complete those for me and take a picture and turn it back in, and I would love to see your work. Congratulations on learning about the term unit fraction.